In the chaotic heart of 1960s Bombay, a city divided by poverty, politics, and power, one man rose from the dust of the docks to the glittering heights of legend. His name was Haji Mastan Mirza, a man who would change the face of Bombay's underworld forever. He ruled not through bullets or bloodshed, but through intelligence, discipline, and influence. This is the story of the man who became India's first celebrity gangster. Born in 1926 in a small village called Panaykulam in Tamil Nadu, Mastan came from humble beginnings. His father repaired bicycles, barely earning enough to feed the family. But even as a child, Mastan dreamed beyond the narrow lanes of poverty. When he was just 8 years old, his family moved to Bombay, the city of dreams. A city that would one day bow to his name. As a teenager, Mastan began working at the docks, long, brutal hours under the burning sun. But while others worked to survive, he worked to learn. He observed how ships carried foreign goods, how customs officers operated, and how smugglers ran their hidden networks beneath the surface of the law. He was quiet, sharp, and patient, the perfect student of the underworld. By the 1950s, India had strict import restrictions. Gold, electronics, and luxury goods were banned or heavily taxed, but demand only grew. Smuggling became the lifeblood of Bombay's black economy, and the young dock worker saw his opportunity. Using his contacts at the ports, Mastan began smuggling small quantities of gold, discreetly, efficiently, and without violence. With every successful shipment, his reputation grew. Soon, Haji Mastan controlled several smuggling routes across Bombay's coastline. Ships arrived under his command. Customs officers looked the other way. He became the silent king of Bombay's docks, the man who could make gold appear from the sea. But Mastan was not just a smuggler, and he was a strategist. He built relationships with politicians, film stars, and businessmen. He understood that true power was not in fear. It was in connection. By the 1960s, Haji Mastan was no longer hiding in the shadows. He stepped into the spotlight, dressed in spotless white clothes, gold watches gleaming on his wrists, and a calm confidence that commanded respect. He drove imported cars, lived in luxury, and entertained some of Bollywood's biggest stars. He financed movies, mingled with celebrities, and became a bridge between the world of crime and cinema. The media loved him. The people adored him. To the poor, he was a hero, a man who helped them in times of need. To the elite, he was untouchable. But unlike most dons, Mastan had a code. He despised violence. He never carried a weapon, and he never allowed killings in his name. He once said, "A man who uses fear to rule will never rule for long." His empire thrived on loyalty and respect, not terror. That made him different. That made him legendary. At the height of his power, Haji Mastan shared Bombay's underworld with two other powerful figures: Karim Lala, the Pathan Don who controlled gambling and extortion, and Varadarajan Mudaliar, the Tamil boss who managed bootlegging. Together, they maintained a delicate balance, three kings ruling one city. But times were changing. A new generation of gangsters was rising, men like Dawood Ibrahim, who didn't follow Mastan's code of honor. The underworld was transforming, from smuggling to violence, from discipline to chaos. Mastan saw this change and chose a different path. He began distancing himself from the criminal world and moved toward business and politics. He founded the Dalit Muslim Suraksha Mahasangh, an organization meant to unite and uplift the poor. He started speaking publicly about social justice, poverty, and equality. In interviews, he was calm, reflective, and wise, a man who had seen both sides of power and learned its cost. To many, he had become a symbol of transformation, from smuggler to statesman. Despite his past, Haji Mastan never lost the respect of Bombay. Even police officers who once chased him later admitted their admiration for his discipline and his word. He kept his promises, helped the poor, and maintained his dignity till the end. He often visited mosques and charities, quietly donating large sums to those in need. He lived by a principle that money and power mean nothing if they don't help others. In 1994, at the age of 68, Haji Mastan passed away. When news of his death spread, thousands gathered to pay their respects. Politicians, film stars, and even rival gangsters came to say goodbye to the man who had once ruled the streets of Bombay without spilling a drop of blood. It was not the funeral of a criminal, it was the farewell of a legend. Decades later, his story continues to inspire films, books, and documentaries. Bollywood characters like Amitabh, Bachchan's role in Diwer and Ajay, Devgan's Sultan Mirza in Once Upon a Time in Mumbai were all modeled after him. Because Haji Mastan was not just a man, he was an era. An era when power came from intelligence, when respect meant more than fear, and when one man proved that even in the darkest world, dignity could shine brighter than gold. Today, when people speak of Bombay's underworld, they remember the chaos, the crime, the bloodshed. But before all of that, there was Haji Mastan, a man who rose from the docks, built an empire, befriended kings and stars, and left behind a legacy that refused to die. He was the original Don, the man who ruled Bombay without firing a single bullet, a legend who lived like a king and died with respect. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more interesting stories.